Good evening, welcome to Question Time. Tonight, an audience all under 22 asks the questions. With us tonight, Ed Miliband, promoted to the Cabinet last week as Cabinet Office Minister at 37, one of its youngest members. The broadcaster and Big Brother host, Davina McCall. Saida, soon-to-be Baroness Vasi, appointed this week to the Shadow Cabinet, responsible for social cohesion. Douglas Murray, the neoconservative author, and Charlie Bell, winner of our nationwide search for a young panellist. Question tonight. Tom Johnson, please.
Has the UK become a terrorist target because of its culture or because of the actions of its government abroad?
Douglas Murray.
Well, I'd first of all say absolutely not to do with our actions abroad, but put that in with one rider. If it were the case that because of our foreign policy people think they have the right to blow up people going to nightclubs and to blow up those fleeing from the first blast, as seems to be the case, then I'd say you have a choice in front of you. Much like the choice we had a few weeks ago over whether or not Britain, the British state, has the right to decide who gets knighthoods, or whether crowds in Pakistan who burn books they can't read have that right. And we have the same choice now, which is whether or not British foreign policy will be run by the British government in the interests of the British state, which I think is the case, or whether or not we just allow other people who let off bombs here or in Baghdad or anyone else who want to terrorise us, whether we allow them to run our foreign policy. That's the choice before us.
But what's your answer to the question? The cause of the terrorism?
Is that the cause of the terror is Islamist fundamentalism, which is a version of Islam, a politicized version of Islam, which is wreaking havoc across the globe and has been doing so for many years, and which was aiming to attack this country and our allies before the invasion of Iraq, before the invasion of Afghanistan, and indeed even before 9/11. That is the truth.
Okay.
Are British troops in Iraq there for military reasons? Because there's only 5,000 of them, and I don't think they can fight against 100,000 or 150,000 Mahdi army people. I don't think they're there for military reasons.
Well, first of all, we're there for as long as the Iraqi government wants us to be there, which is until the area that they're in is secure, and I think we have to abide by that obligation. Two things. First of all, Ms. McCall referred to that not having read the Hamas Charter. If you are going to comment on this, you could at least do the people who desire to kill you the decency of trusting their word. And I can tell you that if the people who are attempting to bomb London and Glasgow and are currently wreaking havoc in Baghdad and across the world, if they had their way, I can assure you your own career wouldn't be going the way it is. You wouldn't be the woman you are. You wouldn't be allowed to do what you do in this country. That is the same, and that is the same for everyone in this group. And you should not be, and you should not take that for granted. And one other thing, I should just add to that. There's been a lot of cynicism in this room about this already tonight. But our troops in Iraq did not only go into Iraq for one reason. The people of Iraq had been living under a totalitarian dictatorship for decades, and many people thought that that was our fault. We get blamed when we intervene and when we don't. It was the same in the Balkans. We get blamed when we intervene and when we don't. If you...
Yes, with the spectacles.
How do you expect to win the hearts and minds of the Iraqi people and people across the world when it's come out today that one of the main reasons Australia went to war in Iraq was for oil?
No, that hasn't come out today. That hasn't come out today, sir. The war was not about oil. If it were, we wouldn't have spent all these billions of dollars in lives and blood and treasure. It was not done for oil. We could have got oil by doing a deal with Saddam like Mr. Chirac did.
Okay, let's move on. Right.
Well, I don't want to make the lady in the fifth row unpopular by agreeing with her, but it is the case. I think this is just another concert. And look, it's no coincidence that there have been so many concerts in good causes. Look, never before has good work been so much fun. It's no surprise that it's concerts that keep on happening. People get to feel they're doing their bit. I'm fighting global warming. I've bought a ticket. I sent a text message to make poverty history. And you feel better about yourself. But it's not enough.
You believe in global warming as caused by man. That's the point. Is it a cut and dried issue? Because poverty in Africa was a cut and dried issue they wanted to draw attention to.
This isn't a cut and dry issue. And is global warming happening? I think it is. But is this due to human agency, and can we change that? I'm not sure that we can. Okay. There seems to be a universal idea that it's otherwise.
Man in the white shirt. Right, let's take another question. Poppy McPherson, please.
Should the West now have a more sympathetic approach to Hamas in light of their involvement in the release of Alan Johnson?
In the light of Hamas's involvement in the release of Alan Johnston, should the West now take a more sympathetic approach to them? Well, Douglas Murray, you better start on that.
Well, the answer is no. Of course not. I'd like to know who it was who was booing in the audience. I don't know who the Hamas supporter is in the audience there. Hamas is a terrorist organization which makes a fetish out of the murder of Jews. And I'd like to know who it was who thought that that movement was a good thing. This, incidentally, if you don't mind Jew murder, let me tell you what these people were doing just a couple of weeks ago to their own co-religionists in the Gaza, where they went to their next-door neighbors and threw people off buildings and shot people in the back when they were running away. And you think now this is a rehabilitated organization because they posed for the release of a journalist?
All
because
right.
they posed and organized that to look good? A couple of points to make on this one. One is that social mobility is generally agreed now to have been down from where it was even 40 years ago or so. That is, the university, which was the way in which people, if they came from a very poor background and were very gifted, got out of that situation, was university, was grammar schools incidentally as well, which Ms. Wassi's, Baroness Wassi's party have opposed more of. It was grammar schools, university, a whole generation of people who came that way, and that's now going partly because of the tuition fees, which put so many people off going to university. But this has happened at the same time as a drive to get more and more people into university as an unmitigated good. Mr. Blair put this figure at 50%. We want to get 50%. If 50% of people want to go to university, you want to get that figure, why not 60, 70? Why not have 100%? It's a ridiculous idea. Most people should not go to universities. They should be elite institutions where people go to study certain things. They are not for everybody. And on the Scottish question...
No, just stick with it. Yeah, easy. Yeah, don't look so surprised.
Just two points very quickly. I'm English and I go to a Scottish university, and I think it's completely unfair that I pay fees but yet my Scottish friends don't. And my second point is I must actually agree with Douglas, strangely enough, in that...
I'm sorry.
The problem's mine, I apologise. This figure, I completely agree with you. This figure of 50% is absolutely nonsense, because it's going to demote what a degree actually means, and it means that people are then going to have to go out. If 50% of everyone has a degree, it means a degree is worthless, because everyone's going to have to go out and get a second degree and get in debt twice, like you see in America.